All right, we're back. Pirates, 4 in a row. They haven't done that in 50 years, beat the Cincinnati Reds, who are pretty bad. They've lost 8 in a row, but still. Pirates are now 5-3. So let's talk about this start. 5-3. When it was 1-3, everybody was talking about fundamental breakdowns, their bullpen. Now all of a sudden, we've seen the way they do business, and it worked this week, and they've worked 4 games in a row now. So, Paul Zeise, what's your take on this 5-3 start?
Well, if they got to play the Reds 162 times, I think they'd be pretty good, seeing as all 5 of their wins are against the same exact team. And despite what everyone thought, because they added Puig and a couple of guys, I never thought that their pitching was going to be good enough to really make them finish anywhere other than 5th. So it's nice. I guess good teams are supposed to beat bad teams, but I need to see a whole lot more against other teams.
I got to see a lot more defense. It's a horrible defensive team for me, and if you're built on pitching, you got to field the ball better than they've fielded the ball. I'm not as worried about the bullpen. I think it's going to be just fine. I have a lot of faith in Vasquez. Even Kella has given up a couple killer home runs, but I think the bullpen's going to be good. Defense, and same as always for me. I don't know how they're going to score enough runs against better teams than the Reds.
Well, I'll say this. I think that, the foundation of any good team is starting pitching, and they've got that. I mean,
yes,
you don't feel any day, even with Lyles, I guess he's spotty. But if you trust the bullpen, you get him out of there fast enough, you get the ball to arms that you trust later in the game. It's hard for me to envision the Pirates finishing with a bad record on the backs of those starting pitchers. So that was supposed to be the formula this year, Bob. You could easily make the case that this should be an undefeated team, that they had a lead in the middle innings or late innings of every single game, and here they are at 5-3.
And who would have ever thought the Cubs would start like this? The Pirates are there tomorrow. I'm wondering if Joe Madden could get fired relatively quickly. They didn't give him an extension after last season. Has he worn out his welcome there? And now the opposite of that, Milwaukee, without a back end of the bullpen, is just rolling. So,
well, I got Hader.
I mean, but the other two guys, no Jeffries, no Knebel. It's amazing to me they're as good as they are. But that kid is tremendous.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me, Ron, if they fired Joe Madden. I mean, he's had some issues with Theo and all of them, and he's actually been outspoken.
Wears out his welcome.
Yeah, and he's also been an outspoken critic of the fact that managers are being de-emphasized and pushed aside for the younger, whiz kid general managers.
But my take on that, Paul, is the guy won you your first World Series in 100 years. If you didn't think he was the right guy for the job, fire him in the offseason. I mean, to me, and I don't like Joe Madden at all, but it would be for an analytics number-based organization to fire a guy based on a small sample size in April, I don't think would be fair.
Well, you look at what their payroll is, though, Andrew. There's a lot of – they can't be 2-15 or 3-15.
That's more on their starting pitching.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say is
all these guys are making more money, and they're not doing anything.
Yeah, Joe Madden isn't the one throwing meatballs like Lester and Hendricks and all those guys. Darvish, all these guys.
That's the wonder kid, Epstein. He likes all that. We'll see. That was a bad move if he doesn't get better. And he's been terrible. He missed all of last year. He missed.
Didn't Epstein take the blame yesterday, saying this is all on me?
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, he'll keep his job.
It won't be long on him. It's going to be on Madden before much
All right,
longer.
let's talk about the other thing that happened today. Andrew, there was a big benches and bullpen clearing incident. It didn't result in any punches, pushing, shoving. We saw Tom Prince channel his inner Goldberg. He was ready to make a form tackle.
A WrestleMania pun there.
Yeah, a WrestleMania thing. That's what he was doing. But I want to ask you what that seemed to galvanize the Pirates. Yeah. But I also understand David Bell, their manager, he got ejected. But I thought Archer should have been ejected for what he did. What do you think?
Because it was purposeful. He blatantly threw at Derek Dietrich. And I know it wasn't at his head. But whenever the intent is there to throw at somebody, it's within the rules for an umpire to immediately eject the pitcher for it. It was entertaining, and maybe it galvanized the team, Bob. I don't know. But the whole thing to me just seemed hypocritical because you've got Chris Archer and Francisco Cervelli, who are two of the most demonstrative players in baseball. They celebrate and hot dog things all the time, and yet they took it personally when Dietrich took his time getting around the bases and admiring a home run. I didn't get that.
It just strikes me as being ridiculous. I mean, really, if you don't like the way a guy hits the ball into the river, don't let him do it. If he's going to look at it, okay, don't let him hit home runs. If you don't like Archer dancing on the mound, then get some hits off.
I agree.
Of him. I mean, there are other ways to do it without, fights and charging the mound and all that kind of crap. I really don't like that sort of stuff. I mean, I can do with less celebrations. But I certainly don't think it's to the point that these guys make it.
Yeah,
sometimes.
because Chris Archer
outplay the other guy, and that's how you hurt him.
Those guys are not the guardians of the game.
Right, but the part of the whole thing about it is that's just a part of what baseball has been for 150 years. If you do something that people feel disrespects the game, you might catch a baseball in the middle of your back. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, but
they police the game themselves.
if you ever hit I always come back to golf, but if you had a good drive and you know it's on, you sit there and you spin your club. I mean, come on. He stood there for 3 seconds.
And Bobby did the same thing later in the game.
I don't have
And he also, how many times do we get annoyed with bat flips?
I don't have a problem with bat flips and all that other stuff. I'm just telling you, I also don't have a problem if someone buries a baseball in the middle of somebody's back because they don't like the way they're acting. I don't have a problem with either of it.
Now it's time to go round the horn, ladies and gentlemen. It's this week's Smooth Moves, brought to you by Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops you will find. I'm talking Armina Stone. So we asked these guys their smoothest move of the week. It doesn't have to be local. It could be national. Andrew, start with you.
Bob, I saw something pretty cool today. I thought Kevin Cash, the Rays manager, was channeling his inner Chuck Tanner. He had a lefty relief pitcher on the mound in the 7th inning, but Evan Longoria was up. So he took his lefty, he moved him to first base. A reliever came in, he got Longoria out. The lefty came back from first to pitch, and he got a left-handed hitter, Brandon Belt, out. I thought that was pretty cool. It reminded me of old school baseball.
We're seeing more of that. How about Michael Lorenzen for the Reds? He pinch ran for the leadoff man last week in Cincinnati and ends up in center field. He's a relief pitcher, for heaven's sake. I'm going to stick with the Pirates for mine. How about Josh Bell's comeback, not just from last year, but from a slow start this year? I don't think he had an extra base hit until yesterday. Yesterday and today, he had 2 of the longest home runs you're ever going to see. If he provides that kind of power, maybe the Pirates will win a few more games.
Well, you know, after a week of hearing about Gino and Muffet and all of her stuff and Gino and Muffet and this and that and the other thing, my smooth move goes to Kim Mulkey of Baylor, who said to both of them, "Shut up, we're the champs." 82-81. Baylor beats Notre Dame, saves us all from months and months and months of obnoxiousness about Muffet DeGraw.
I'll tell you what, she goes under the radar. One of the better head coaches that you're going to find in women's basketball, and that's a big win for them, no doubt. What a great Final Four it was for them. Very close games, and then today, 1 point. All right, when we come back, we're going to do a little bit more, but those are the smooth moves of the week brought to you by Armina Stone. They feature Pittsburgh's largest indoor stone gallery, granite, marble countertops imported from all over the world to give you the smoothest countertops in your area. Score a touchdown with new granite countertops from Armina Stone. Next up, Juju and AB. Again and again.